All right, everyone, welcome back. Second half of today's podcast, Monday, March 11th, 2024, the MMAOB Daily Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Adam Martin, joining my co-host here, Mr. Big Marcel. We're here to preview UFC Vegas 88, Tuivasa versus Tybura. I think we got, was it 13 fights, Marcel, on this card, I believe?
Yeah, I think so. I haven't counted. 7 plus 6 is 13.
13, yeah. Got to do some basic math there. 6 on the main card, 7 prelim. So looking forward to talking about with you. I mean, honestly, it's not the best card, like, let's be honest, but
what Glenn says.
Fights. Yeah, I know, like Glenn says. Some rich people in Vegas, I guess. I mean, the atmosphere, and I've heard, I haven't been to the Apex, I haven't seen the card there, but I've heard it's cool. But again, I mean, that's a lot of money to watch for Marcin Tybura in the main event. I was just joking to Marcel. I almost wrote Marcel Tybura when I was doing the podcast just now. Top hype. You missed the last podcast, but yeah, MVP. I mean, you got that win. Back on the prison block for this fight now. What are you saying there, Antoine? What do you mean?
You won't like what I said hype about MVP, but watch it back.
Yeah, Marcel was critical. I'll just say that. Anyways, I think we should just get into this. We got 13 fights, like I said, guys. So let's just jump into this card, UFC Vegas 88. Marcel, your thoughts on this card as a whole? What do you think about it?
A typical Apex card, I would say. I think the main event stinks. Let's be honest. This fight was supposed to happen on 298, I think, and I don't know why they picked this fight to be on the on this card to headline. There are a lot of better fights they could have picked. Yeah, I mean, let's see what happens. I feel like I said before the podcast to you, I think Christian Rodriguez against Isaac Bulgarian is the best fight on this card and the fight I'm looking forward to the most. And let's see what happens.
Yeah, for sure. So again, we got 13 fights. We'll just start breaking them down right away, guys. We'll start with the first fight of the card. We use UFCstats.com. There is one fight missing on there, which is Moises Ramirez, but we'll add that into where it happens.
That's the fourth fight.
Yeah, so we'll add it in. All right, we'll start off with the first fight. Bantamweights, Canadian Chad the Monster Anheliger takes on Charalampos Grigoriou, and Charalampos is minus 166. The Monster plus 140. Marcel, you're picking the first fight.
Trivia: he's the second fighter out of Cyprus in the UFC. Who was the first?
Michael Bisping.
No, I mean, he was born in Cyprus, but he's not from Cyprus.
He is. He's born there.
Yeah, but he's English. He's British. Come on. Who's the real first fighter?
Can you give me a hint?
He headlined a fight night.
Headlined a
against
fight
Luke Rockhold.
Oh, Kostas Philippou.
Yeah, exactly.
He's Greek too, right? So he said, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Charalampos Grigoriou, he got that win over Cameron Smotherman in the Dana White Contender Series last year. It's kind of an early stoppage, but still, it was a good win for him. I think he's training with the Law MMA guys, right? With Sterling, with Marab, these kind of guys. He has looked good so far. I saw him before at CFFC. I wasn't really high on him when I saw him fight there. But I thought he looked pretty good at Contender Series. Mm-hmm. If you look at Chad Anheliger, he started well in the UFC with a win over Jesse Strader.
Yeah.
But then, he lost to Alateng Haley and to Josie Johnson, pretty recent Josie Johnson, that fight.
Yeah.
I'm kind of favoring Charalampos Grigoriou here. I don't think there will be a finish. I'm going with a decision win for the guy from Cyprus.
Yeah, interesting fight. I mean, Chad's got more experience, obviously, in the UFC, 1 and 2. Also, I thought I don't know what that fight with Muin Gafurov on Contender. I mean, he won, but split, but I don't know. And then, obviously, the Strader fight, he was losing until he beat him in the third round. Since then, he lost 2 straight fights. So I'm not too high on him, and I'll give him a lot of credit, though. He's a guy that I think started with 3 straight losses in his MMA career and then bounced back to make the UFC. He's Canadian, too, right? So I was like the guy, but I don't think he's amazing by any means. The Charalampos guy, though, I mean, no high-level experience in the UFC yet. He did be that Cameron Smotherman guy. It was a really good knockout. But, this is a bit of a step up in competition. I'm curious to see what Chad's game plan is, because I think if he just tries to wrestle, maybe he'll have some success. But if the fight stays on the feet, I'm pretty sure he's going to get clipped here, man. So I'll go with Grigoriou too, Marcel. You're saying decision. I think he probably knocks him out. I mean, he's got a lot of power. And yeah, I think he knocks him out. So that's my pick here. We had the same pick in the first fight night.
Can I reply to Antoine?
Yeah.
Insane in the brain.
Insane in the brain. Insane in the
membrane.
Oh, yeah. Classic. All right, let's go to the next fight here. And I mean, this one's tough for me to watch, Marcel, because you got my UFC wife here, Jaqueline Amorim, taking on Cory McKenna. And it would only be worse if she fought your girl, Natalia Silva. Then I don't think we could do the podcast that week. But thankfully, they're different weight classes. No, we got Cory McKenna's favorite here, -122. Jaqueline Amorim +102. I'm just going to say right now, Marcel, I'm not picking Jaqueline to win. I know you're going to be surprised, but I'm not picking her in this fight. I think Cory wins, man. I think she's just going to grind her out, dude. I honestly think so. I think it's going to be a boring decision for her. I think Jaqueline will do well in the first round, and then she'll gas out again. It's going to look like that Sam Hughes fight. I think it's going to look exactly the same as that. She'll get her down to the ground. She'll go for some chokes, not finish them, and then be exhausted in the second round. Cory McKenna is just going to get on top position, grind her out, win a decision. I mean, she did have that bomb flu. I don't really think it's going to happen in this fight, though. I think Jaqueline is a lot higher of level of ground game than Miranda Granger. I think the fight goes 3 rounds. I actually like Cory McKenna quite a bit in this fight, man. I think it's a really good matchup for her, just because, again, I think she has such a big advantage with the gas tank. Cory McKenna by decision. I feel pretty good about this one, to be honest. And sucks to see Jaqueline lose because I really like this girl, but And anyways, she's already taken anyways by some dudes, so. Yeah, she can get out of here. Go ahead.
Adam watching this fight with his massive eggplant in his hand. But I feel the same way, man. I think Cory McKenna wins. I really like Cory. I think she also leveled up at the Team Alpha Male training with Macy Barber a lot. And I think Cory wins, man. I gotta say, when she came in the UFC, she was kind of green, you know. She was like not really developed, and I remember her losing to Elise Reed, I think, and that was like
a bad loss, man.
Yeah, it was a pretty bad loss. But since then, she got a good win over Granger with the Van Vloed choke, and the win over Cheyenne Vlismus. Yeah. So I think she wins. She also has probably better cardio than Amorim has. Yeah. I'm taking Cory McKenna. I take her by decision.
Yeah. No, I like her too. So I think we got the same pick in this fight. We go to the next fight here. We have this fight's interesting, actually. We have the featherweight Danny El Puma Silva making his debut in the UFC against Josh Culibao. And the odds for this one, Culibao -162, Danny Silva +136. You know, this one I'm not too confident in Culibao. I'm going to pick him, man, because of the experience in the UFC and he's fought like better competition. But the Danny Silva guy is a dog too, man. I mean, that fight was a fucking war on Contender. He got hit a shitload. I mean, look at the strike count: 204 for him, 197 for Angel Pacheco. That's crazy. So they were just teeing off on each other. They both got signed. Dana White signed both guys, both deserved. It does worry how much he got hit though in that fight, and that's why I got to pick Culibao because he's just a more seasoned striker. But at the same time, I mean, this is the kind of guy that could like drown him, swarm him, break him. And he's fought decent competition on the regional scene, decent LFA and some other promotions. So I think this will be a pretty hard fought fight, man. That probably goes the distance. Just like I said, the experience of Culibao, the higher level competition, fought good fighters like Dalen Turner, Jordan Murphy. Didn't beat them, but the other guys he beat, like Malsick, that's a pretty good win, I think. So he's decent, but I can't trust him enough to like put money on this guy. So I'll take Josh Culibao by decision. What do you think?
I cannot agree more with you. I agree with everything you say. You know, I'm also going with Culibao by decision, and I think Silva is possible to surprise here. You know, but still. Culibao has fought the better opposition. He's more, he has the better experience, I think. You know, so for me, Culibao as well. But I don't underestimate Silva at all.
Yeah, I think he has a chance for sure. He's a live dog. We'll go to the next fight here. We have this is a fight that's not on UFC stats, but I think this fight's next, right?
Yeah,
we got Thiago Moises taking on Mitch Ramirez, short notice replacement Ramirez. Moises is a big favorite here, -360. Mitch, the Night Stalker, Ramirez, +280. Is that his nickname? I gotta double check. Gotta pull the Tapology up.
The Fight Stalker.
The Fight Stalker? The Fight Stalker. Yeah. The Night Stalker is that guy that killed those people. My God, I feel sorry with that. He's that dude, Richard Ramirez. Isn't it Richard Ramirez? Is that his name?
Yeah.
You guys follow that crazy guy? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the serial killer. Yeah.
Yeah. The next. Okay. Well, actually, he's got the same fucking last name. He's got almost the same nickname. So I don't feel so bad now. But the Night Stalker. Yeah, I would pick that guy to win. Bring a knife in the octagon and slit your throat. Anyways, listen, Marcel. To me, this is like an easy pick on Moises, right? Like I think so. I mean, he's fought, like you said, he's in the UFC. He's fought way better competition. He's got a way better ground game. The striking will be competitive, I think, but even that, Thiago is a decent striker. And this guy Mitch Ramirez, he's beaten mostly like just not good fighters, and then he steps up and fights Prates, who's really good and gets brutally knocked out. I will say he's probably better at lightweight, so he'll probably stick around the UFC for a bit. I mean, he's fought some decent competition. It's not like it's bad, but again, Moises just beating Bobby Green, beating Michael Johnson, Christos Giagos, Alexander Hernandez, Ezekiel Costa. These are pretty good fighters, Kurt Holloway. Like these are pretty decent opposition. Then lost to only good guys like Benoit and Islam and Demir and Neil and Joel Alvarez. He only lost to like really fucking good guys, man. So yeah, I mean, for me, the question is, does he finish the fight or not? Like that's kind of what I'm thinking here. Does he finish it or not? I think he's got a chance to submit this guy. I guess I'll go with him by submission. What do you think?
Yeah, man, I think so too. I mean, if it was the Night Stalker, he could bring a knife like his uncle, but he can't. So,
dude, they're not related.
no, I mean, it's so funny, yeah, I'm also with Moises. I think Moises wins the fight. I think Moises will be really disappointed because he was supposed to be the co-main event against Brett Riddell, and now he's bumped down to or the how do you say that? Relegated to the prelims or something. He wins. I would say he wins the fight.
And Ramirez short notice too. Who's he replacing? I can't remember.
Brett Riddell.
Riddell, that's right. And Moises was favored against Riddell, but I'll be honest, I actually thought Riddell had a chance to win that fight. I know he's coming off retirement as well, but Riddell's a pretty good fighter, So this is Ramirez is not bad, but this is an easier fight than Brad Riddell, I would say, personally. All right, let's go to the next fight here. We got Jafel Filho taking on Ode Osbourne in the UFC men's flyweight division. Odd for this one. Filho minus 180. Ode Osbourne plus 150. Marcel, I'm going with Jafel Filho, man. I think this guy's really good. They had that fucking war with Daniel Barras, submits him. He had that really good fight against Makayev where he was winning the fight and then ends up getting finished. But man, he, again, a lot of guys would have tapped out to that knee bar. Just fought a really game Makayev. And then he had that crazy knockout on Contender. I think this guy's really solid, man. And Ode Osbourne's a guy that's super inconsistent. He's been finished in all of his losses in the UFC, and I think he gets finished here. This is a good spot for a flyweight under, I think. I don't think this fight goes 3 rounds. I think Jafel Filho submits Ode Osbourne. I feel pretty confident in it, too. So Jafel Filho by submission is my pick. What do you think, man?
Me too, man. Jafel was pretty good, He got that win over that Robert Echeverria guy, who is he's training at Goat Chat. I think I see him all the time in the corners of the Goat Chat fighters. And he's a pretty good fighter as well, so that was a good win. He gave Mokayev a really difficult fight, and in this last fight, he knocked out Danny Barras. Pretty weird that a guy from Brazil has fought twice in the UFC and both fights were in England. Now he's fighting. Yeah, he's fighting in America now. I'm picking him. Listen, I like Ode a lot, but I think Jafel will win.
Yeah, I like Jafel, man. I think he's better. I think, honestly, Ode, if he loses again and gets finished, he probably gets cut. That's
possible.
Yeah. So let's go to the next fight here.
It's such a weird matchup.
Yeah. We got Josiane Nunes taking on Chelsea Chandler. Women's bantamweight division. So that's something to key in on here. I mean, there's another girl later on, Meerschaert, on that's also going back down in weight. So Chandler, can she make 135? We'll see, And then you got Josiane Nunes, who's like super short, man, for this weight class. Let me check the stats here, but I think she's like 5'2", right? Let me check. Nunes 5'2" versus 5'8". So you got a real height discrepancy here. Despite that, Nunes is favored, minus 142. Chelsea Chandler plus 120. Let me get your thoughts on this one. What do you think about this fight?
Yeah, it's kind of a weird fight, to be honest. Josiane Nunes has won all of her fights. She's ranked, and Chelsea lost her last fight against Norma Dumont, and she gets another one. Listen, I like it for Chelsea that she gets another fight, but I think Chelsea struggles to make 135. She said it herself. She was like, I hope I can go further in my career at the 145. But the UFC obviously don't want to have anything to do anymore at 145 now, so she has to make 135 to stay in the UFC. It will be hard for her, just like it will be hard for Norma Dumont, in next month. So, I would favor Nunes still, in this, because she proved that she can overcome those reach advantages against Biamaleki, against Sarah Farron. Although I think Chelsea's better than both those two girls, but still, I'm going with Nunes decision probably.
I'm with you too. Chandler, I don't know. I mean, like she could win this. She's a live dog too, I would say, just because she has a better ground game, right? If she gets this fight to the ground, she'll be bigger and stronger. But I don't know. I mean, we'll see. Josiane Nunes on the feet, I think she's going to tee off on her, man. I really do. And that fight with Norma Dumont where she ran away, I mean, that image stays in my mind. It just kind of showed me, she's, who likes being hit, but I mean, it just wasn't a good look. Again, those size discrepancies. I picked when she fought Bea Malecki. I picked her. I was happy with that one. But this is I think a little bit of a tougher fight, just because Chandler's ground game is pretty legit, But again, if the fight stays standing, which I think it probably does for the most part, I think Josiane just tees off on it. But again, there's so many fights in this card. There's 12. This is one I wouldn't bet, or 13, I should say. This is one I wouldn't bet on. So I'll stay away from it. I'll take Nunes. Probably decision because Chandler's pretty tough too. So that's the same pick as you. Go to the next fight here. We got Natan Levy taking on Mike Davis. This is a fun fight. This is the featured prelim here. After this one, Mike Davis, minus 290, plus 230, Levy. I mean, I think you have to go with Mike Davis here, right? Like, the guy, when he fights, is super good, man. I mean, he has, again, you talk about guys that haven't fought that much. He's been in the UFC for 5 years, and he's only fought 4 times. But when we see him fight, just, other than the Gilbert Burns fight where he lost, I mean, everyone would lose to in their debut. He destroyed Thomas Gifford. Like, that was one of the worst beatings you'll ever see in the UFC. He beat Mason Jones. That was a good win for him. And then he beat Vasyslav Barshav, which was a fucking good win for him because Barshav, I know he's not a very good wrestler, but man, he's a good striker. And he withstood the 3 rounds and beat him there. So this guy's just really well-rounded. He can strike and he can wrestle. That's what I like about him. I actually like Natan Levy too, man. I think he's a pretty good fighter, but he's to me a little bit one-dimensional, right? Like his grappling is kind of what's winning him these fights, and this is a fight where I think he's going to be outmatched in the feet. So Mike Davis is a decent-sized favorite here, minus 290, and I think he wins this fight, probably decision. What do you think?
Yeah, man, I really like Mike Davis, but he doesn't fight too much, and that's the problem with Mike Davis. I think he's a really fun fighter. Super technical on the feet. His ground game is pretty strong. 100% Mike Davis for me here. I'm going with the decision as well. Natan Levy is tough.
Yep.
Yeah, but when I saw this fight, I was like, finally, we got Mike Davis back, and if he's on his game, he's going to win the fight.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. So we have the same pick in this one. We'll go to the next fight here, guys. We got Gerald Meerschaert taking on Bryan Barberena, UFC middleweight division, kicking off the card. Meerschaert minus 230, plus 190 Barberena. I think we're both big fans of Bryan Barberena, especially you, but I don't like this fight at middleweight for him, dude. I mean, I just think, he's a guy. I know he's had some problems with cutting weight and stuff like that, but I mean, he's fought. This is his 3rd weight class now, and he's just against Makbud Meredov, Marcel, 13 takedowns. It's not good. Gerald Meerschaert's not an amazing wrestler by any means, but I mean, he's decent. And if he gets the fight to the ground, I think he locks up submission. He's got 35 wins and almost all there by submission. I think he submits Bryan Barberena, man. I'm pretty sure that's what happens here. I think he's going to get him to the ground, submit him. I'll say, Bryan's pretty tough. I say he'll hang around to the 3rd round and get submitted in the 3rd round. Meerschaert by 3rd round submission is kind of what he does. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it too much because I'm really good with Bryan. But yeah, I think I think Bryan, he went to middleweight now, and I think this is not a good matchup, to be really honest. You got a guy who's really good at submissions. It's likely, I think he is the submission leader in the middleweight division. Yep. And he has 9. He probably gets 10 now. So yeah, I think Meerschaert wins as well.
What round?
2nd.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we both like that. And again, Bryan's a fan. We're a fan of Bryan on the podcast here, but man, it's going to be 4 straight losses, I think. And I don't think they'll cut him. He's a guy that I think will get 5 straight losses potentially, but I don't like this matchup for him at all. All right, we'll go to the next fight here. We got Pannie Kianzad taking on Macy Chasson, and the odds for this would have Macy is favored minus. What do I see here? Oh, minus 205, Pannie plus 170. This is a rematch. They fought in 2018 on the tough finale.
Yeah.
Macy won by submission. And now they rematch 6 years later. And Kianzad's the higher ranked fighter, but a big underdog in this fight. So what do you think, man? You got Chasson, or do you like Sexy Scramble in this fight, Marcel? Remember that used to be your nickname.
Yeah, I remember, man. I remember.
Who do you like? Oh, Marcel, your thing's off. Your mic. I'm waiting for you. You're on mute. There you go. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think I don't know what happens. I think that cable is fucked. But yeah, I think Chasson probably has to use a little bit of her ground game in this fight, man. That's what I think. I think she's probably stronger. Pannie. Yeah, it's difficult, man. I'm leaning Chasson. Let's put it that way. But Pannie definitely has a chance. But I feel like Macy is too big and too strong for her, probably.
Yeah.
And I wonder if Macy makes 135.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, that's a question mark here because she's like, again, with Chelsea Chandler, same with Macy Chasson, she's struggled to make weight. When she fought Irene Aldana, I think it was at 140 catch weight, right? Like, it wasn't even at bantamweight. So she's someone that's fought 145, moving back down now to 135. So that's something to keep in mind. I'll tell you this right now, Marcel, hit the button. Let's go. Hit the button. Yeah. Taking her, man. Taking my girl, her Pannie Kianzad. I think she could win this rematch, dude. I think she'll win the decision in this fight. Plus 170, especially. I mean, this feels like the Poirier odds last week. Same odds. No, I like her here. I mean, listen, like, actually, I'm really glad we saw that Moroz and Wood fight because just because someone won the first fight doesn't mean they'll win the rematch. And I think I was really glad to see that happen in a way because it almost, like, sometimes I forget. It's like, it's not so cut and dry sometimes. Yes, they fought 6 years ago and Macy won, but I think they're different fighters now. I actually think Pannie's grown as a fighter. I think she's, better defensively, especially, and the striking. I think she's a much better striker. I like, to me, it's not even close. I will say this too. They have a common opponent, Raquel Pennington. They have two common opponents, Leah Landsberg and Raquel Pennington. And Pannie beat Lena and Macy lost to her, and they both fought Raquel and they both lost. But I'll tell you right now, that Pannie Kianzad fight with Raquel Pennington was very close. Very, very close. And that's a champ right now. That's the champ right now. Macy got submitted by her. Macy, I kind of feel like, she's a good fighter. She's definitely got the better grappling here, and that's how she'd win. But I do feel like Marcel, she's kind of declining a little bit. I don't know. Like, lost 2 of her last 3 by finish. I understand the top opposition. I get that. But to me, like, when she came to the UFC and she's finishing everyone, I'm like, holy shit, we have like a future champion maybe. And I don't really feel like she's panned out. Kianzad, I think, is really solid, man. I think she's one of the more underrated fighters. I always like her fights. She's really exciting to watch, I think, with the striking, and I think she can win this fight. Again, the grappling is going to be an issue here, but especially with that weight cut, man. If she doesn't finish her Chasson, I think Kianzad can come on strong late. So I'll say this fight goes like this. I think Chasson first round probably gets her against the fence, pulls her to the ground, and then second round, Pannie is able to keep it upright and wins the third round too. And she actually won that third round against Caitlin Vieira too in the last fight. So good cardio. I think she wins this fight, man. I'll take her as a plus 170 dog. Let's go. Let's take it. Let's do it. Let's do it, Marcel.
By the way,
yeah.
UFC Roster Tracker has just posted 3 fighters removed from the roster: Mike Breeden, Fernie Garcia, and Luis Saldana.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, we'll go to the next fight here. We got Christian Rodriguez against Isaac Dulgarian. This is Marcel. He said it's his favorite fight in the card.
Yeah.
Featherweight fight. Christian Rodriguez moving up. Dulgarian minus 148. Rodriguez, C-Rod plus 124. I'll let you start because you like the fight so much. Go ahead.
Yeah, man, great fight. Christian Rodriguez going up to 145. Now we had trouble with making weight. I think he missed weight in the Contender Series and he missed weight in the UFC against Rosas Jr. and Cameron Simon his last 2 fights. One loss in his UFC career, which was at 145 against Jonathan Pierce at short notice. Now he's fighting Isaac Dulgarian. Dulgarian's still undefeated. All of his finishes in the first round by either submission or knockout. Really fun guy to watch. Man, it's a difficult one, man. I'm gonna tell you. I think if it ends early, I likely go with Dulgarian. If I think it goes to a decision, I favor Rodriguez because I don't know how Dulgarian fights in the second and third round because we never have seen it, So safe pick, Rodriguez decision, but I think it's going to be an absolute banger, and I think we'll be fighting tonight.
You took Rodriguez or Dulgarian?
Rodriguez.
Hit the button, then. You got a dog.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah. There's a dog from Marcel. This is a tough one. I think Rodriguez definitely has a chance to fight gets out of the first round, which it might. I mean, he's tough. He's never been finished, right? But Dulgarian's pretty special, man. I was beyond impressed with his debut. And, I mean, all his fights are ending the same way. He's just getting guys down, beating the fucking shit out of them and winning the fights in the first round. I don't know. It just, to me, it's like I'm not sure what C-Rod's going to look like in the higher weight division. When he fought Jonathan Pierce, he didn't look that great. And Dulgarian's Yeah, it was. I'm just saying, like, Bulgarian's pretty good, man. And
Yes.
but again, I question the cardio though. That's my question. So if it gets on the first, he doesn't finish him, which again he's never been finished. What happens then? So
Yeah.
I'm kind of on the fence about this one. I'm going to pick Bulgarian just because I think his upside's really high. I really like him as a prospect.
I agree.
But I don't really know the method because I think Christian's tough enough where he could survive. And I kind of feel like Bulgarian might be able to grind this out and win the decision still, even though we haven't seen that. But the safe pick would probably be him by first round finish. So, yeah, probably TKO ground and pound like he's been doing. But it's an interesting fight. And it's not one I would bet on personally. I think Dog could definitely win this fight. All right, let's go to the next fight here. We got, why is this guy in the UFC still? Ovin St. Peru taking on Kenny and Jaqueline. I'm just so confused. Like, OSP is really past its prime, man. And the odds suggest that too. -500 Kennedy, African Assassin, +3 in OSP. Listen, I like OSP ever since Strikeforce, man. I've always liked the guy. He had some really good wins in the UFC, man, but God, he's looked terrible, man, lately. Looked horrible. Kennedy is still super young. He's only 30. Well, he's 31. But OSP's what, 42? Isn't he? Let me double check.
40.
OSP's 40. He's 40. Don't want to age him too much. But I think Kennedy's not amazing. And I still worry about his chin. I just don't think it's the fight where he gets tested. I think Kennedy he ends his career. I think he finishes him in the first round, ends his career. What do you think?
Yeah, man. And I really got some dislike for OSP after that first Shogun fight where he had the front throwing a skateboard in the octagon. What a dick move.
That's you talking about no contest. That should have been one, right? Or an object.
And funny was like when I showed to one of my colleagues, I think like 2 years ago, he's like, "This actually happened?" It's like, "No, dude, this not happened. It's like somebody. It's like made by somebody, dude." He's like, "Oh, it looked real." It's like, yeah, it looks definitely real. So, yeah. I also think OSP loses, man. I respect OSP a lot. I always liked it from the Strikeforce days, like you said. Same for me. But I think he's pretty much done. I'm going with Kennedy. I think Kennedy finishes him in the first round. Yeah,
I think this is what's is this the easiest pick in the card, or is it
probably? Yeah.
This is probably this fight. Yeah, I would say so too. Again, you're in a survivor pool. This is the guy to take, I think, this week. All right, let's go to the next fight here. Co-main event: Bryan Battle taking on Angelosa. Odds for this one, Battle's favor, -162, Angelosa +136. I think it's a pretty good fight. Not really co-main event worthy, I wouldn't say, but I think they're trying to build Battle up as a prospect here, and he is favored. He's looked good in the UFC. Other than the Renat fight where he got just like out wrestled for 14 minutes and 11 seconds, the other fights he's looked amazing. Really, for the most part, he's knocking guys out, submitting them. He's looked fucking incredible. Angelos is decent. He's never been finished, I don't think, so he's tough. And I think this fight probably goes to 3 rounds, and I think he'll probably test Bryan Battle, but Bryan Battle I think overall will be a little better on the feet, a little better on the ground, and win decision. So that's kind of what I'm leaning here at Bryan Battle. What do you think?
Same. I think Bryan Battle has to probably take the fight to the ground. There is his advantage. I think stand up. Angelosa is good as well. He got a good chin. We saw that against AJ Fletcher, but. If I think about Angelosa, I still have to think about that fight at the Dana White Contender Series against Jack Della Maddalena. That was such a great fight. He lost that fight, by the way, but still, it was a great fight. I think Battle wins, man. I think he takes him down probably and submits him, probably second or third round. That would be my choice of finish. I think it will be a good fight, and I'm happy they bumped this fight up. It was supposed to be on prelims at first, but
okay.
I
don't think co-main event's a little high up there, but it's
true.
Fight. All right. Well, it's not like it's much better than this main event here. 20. Geez, I don't know about this one, man. It's a main event. Tuivasa taking on Marcin Tybura. Odds for this one. Tuivasa is slight favorite here, -125, +105 on Marcin Tybura. Actually, I'll let you start on this one. What do you think?
This can go 2 ways. Either Ty knocks him out in the first round, or Tybura gets some late finish, or finishes by decision, or wins by decision. That's pretty much it. I don't want to talk too much about this fight. I think Tybura does the smart, takes him to the ground, and after 3 or 4 rounds, Ty is exhausted as fuck, and Tybura finishes him with ground and pound. So going with Marcin Tybura on this one.
Well, hit the button. He's an underdog. Hit it.
Okay, there you go.
Hit it one more time for me.
There you go.
We got a consensus dog, guys, in the main event. We have a consensus dog.
Last fight.
Finally, man, we got a consensus dog. We haven't had one in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I think he does, dude. I wrote my breakdown today for bookies. It's going to be posted tomorrow. I wrote down the exact same fucking thing you just said. I literally wrote down the same thing. I think that's exactly what happens. I think Marcin will be able to kind of survive the first round, and Ty's going to get so tired, and the fight's going to take over the third, fourth, fifth round, and he's going to lose by exhaustion. Basically, Tybura's just going to get on top of him and just rain down blows and just use its fat to smother Tuivasa and just beat him to a pulp and win by ground and pound. It's going to be an awful fight for as long as it lasts until the finish, but I think Tuivasa is going to get finished here with ground and pound. I think it's going to look like maybe like the Wall Harris fight was one round, but I think it'll go longer than that just because Ty is a little bit tougher than Tim Vault, I would say. But no, Ty's lost 3 straight fights, man, and he's getting like his chin's not looking good. He's getting tired in his fights. I like Ty a lot. I hope Ty wins. I mean, part of me hope he wins because I like him more, but my heart says Ty, but my head says Marcin Tybura. So I think Marcin just gets on top of him and just beats him to the ground. And hey Blake, sorry, I know you made some comments here. I just want to get this one. I don't think so because Marcin is top 15, is he not? I think he is a ranked fighter, isn't he, Marcel? Pretty sure he is, right?
Both are ranked.
I mean, I don't think
9 and 10.
Yeah, this is not like it's 9 versus 10. It makes sense. Marcin Tybura is ranked higher than Derek Lewis and Jairzinho and Rosenstrike. Those guys aren't scrubs either. Not bottom barrel. This guy's he's the guy that I don't like picking because I don't like his game. I find him boring. I don't like watching him fight, but he's pretty effective with what he does. So I think it's a good matchup for him. I really do, and I'm really happy we have the same pick here, man. It makes me happy. So
yeah, he only has 2 losses in his last 8 fights, and those were losses against Volkov and against Aspinall. So.
And the Aspinall one, I mean, like, listen, most people are going to get blasted by Aspinall. And the Volkov fight was somewhat competitive. So, yeah, I mean, he's not bad. And again, Ty, like, same thing. I mean, he's lost to some good guys, but I look back at the other fights he lost before the win streak. The Sergey Spivak fight. I think it kind of looks like that, where he just gets taken down. Spivak submitted him. I think Tybura ground and pound. So I am happy we have the same pick here. Joe's got Tuivasa. Type's got Tybura. Yeah, so we got the same pick. So just really quick recap here, guys. Took most of the favorites on this card, which I think most of them win. But for dogs, I took Pannie, Kianzad, and Marcin Tybura, and Marcel took Christian Rodriguez and Marcin Tybura. So we have a consensus dog this week, Marcin Tybura. I think there's a couple live dogs earlier on the prelims, but I think a lot of the favorites win again. Anything else you want to say about the card?
Not much, I think it's like a typical Apex card. So yeah,
I agree. All right, anything else you want to say, man, or should we just get out of here early today? Anything else you want to talk about really quick?
Nothing.
All right, cool. Let's just get out of here, guys, just because we've been talking for like almost 2 hours and my mouth is pretty dry. So we'll get out of here. We appreciate you guys. Oh, this last question, Kita and Aggie. I don't. Who are these guys? There's a question. The last question.
That's Belgium against the Netherlands. Fun fight. Losene Keita is probably one of the biggest prospects from Belgium. And Agi Sardari is a former Cage Warriors champion, good fighter as well. That's going to be a fun fight, man. Looking forward to it. I'm not going to give my pick. It's going to look forward to it.
So really just a couple of questions here. Any word on 301 and 302 headliners? Nothing yet. I mean, have you heard anything?
Literally nothing. It's like I don't even know what 302 is going to happen. If it's Newark or if it's I have no idea.
It's odd. Hardy, Harris, and Ivanov. Ty would kill these guys. Ty fought Ivanov and lost, actually. So he actually lost to him. I actually had Blagoy in that fight. Blagoy, I think, dropped Ty, I'm pretty sure, and won the decision. God bless you too, man. Appreciate you guys. No, I really appreciate you guys joining us as always, for the podcast. Hope you guys liked it. I think we're good. We'll be back next week. We'll recap UFC Vegas 88, and then we'll preview Vegas 89, I think it is.
Rebus against Namajunas.
Very last question here. Will Dana finally book JL? They got to bring JLS to the UFC, man. He's got to fight. Before I die, I want to see JLS fight in the UFC. I mean, come on, the guy's got, 100 losses, man. I mean, you got to have a fight of the worst guys ever. So anyways, guys, have a great week. We'll talk to you soon. Good luck with your picks and bets. Peace.